The Sixth Amendment by Tyler Service, Ottawa University, 4/17 of 2020. What is the Sixth Amendment and what does it state? The Sixth Amendment of the United States Constitution. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witness against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. Okay, so let's take the Sixth Amendment apart by section. There's a lot in it, so let's talk about what it says. First of all, a right to a speedy trial. This right is considered one of the most important in the Constitution. Without it, criminal defendants could be held indefinitely under a cloud of unproven criminal accusations. The right to a speedy trial also is crucial to assuring that the criminal defense receives a fair trial. If too much time elapses between the alleged crime and the trial, witnesses may die or leave the area, their memories may fade, and physical evidence may be lost. Next would be the trial by jury, an impartial jury. A trial by jury means the defendant has the right to have impartial members of the community to sit on the jury and determine the outcome of the case based on evidence only. The jury is selected in a manner to weed out those who may have any bias against the accused. This is important in cases of bias where race or religion are concerned. This gives the accused the best outcome by the merits of the case and not by any other means. So going along with a speedy trial is a right to a public trial. This right is grounded in history, where an accused was tried in secret and denied their rights, which mostly ended in their executions. This was what the king would do to his political enemies. All throughout history, there are cases where political opponents were tried in secret and executed by those in power. This right to a public trial protects members of the United States citizenry from this. The Sixth Amendment protects public by keeping the public informed on how the justice system is working and individuals from abuse of the justice system. So what that means is because a trial is public, the public can see that the justice system is working correctly and not corruptly. This right can be waived by the accused. A famous quote is, "Trial by jury, the best of all safeguards for the person, the property, and fame of every individual." The right to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation is the next portion of the Sixth Amendment. A speedy trial and a public trial are pointless if the defense does not know what he is accused of. If the defendant does not know what he is accused of, he cannot mount a proper defense. As we have discussed before in talking about Miranda, Miranda was adopted to advise a person of their rights, and these rights are outlined in the Sixth Amendment. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to have an attorney present prior to or during questioning if you so desire. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you free of charge. Do you understand your rights? This is Miranda. So let's talk about how these rights apply to adults and how they differ for juveniles. The Sixth Amendment for adults is straightforward. The rights listed in the amendment are afforded to adults as they are stated. The right to a speedy and public trial, trial by impartial jury, advised of the crime they are accused of, and the right to counsel. An adult can waive any of these rights on their own. The Sixth Amendment does not change with juveniles, but there are extra steps that need to be taken to ensure that the juvenile's rights are protected. So let's talk about the differences between juveniles and adults. The rights of juveniles. The Sixth Amendment still applies to juveniles, but as stated before, there are extra steps that need to be taken to ensure that juvenile rights are not trampled on. For instance, a juvenile is read Miranda in a different way than an adult. These warnings are further explained to the juvenile, and they are advised that they can have a parent or a guardian present. This is done so that a juvenile is not tricked into self-incrimination. Juveniles are given multiple examples of each right, and each right are confirmed individually so that they are understood. This is so custodial interrogation does not violate their rights. In many cases with younger juveniles, special interviewing techniques are used by trained and certified officers. This is called forensic interviews. Forensic interviews are conducted in a way where no leading questions are asked. Juveniles are more likely to be led than an adult, and this provides an extra protection. Children who commit crimes have a complicated status as far as the legal world is concerned. Since they're children with less understanding of the laws, they deserve special protections. However, since they are still minors, they don't have all of the constitutional rights that adults have. Many of the juvenile court's procedures reflect an effort to balance these two concerns and rehabilitate juvenile delinquents. Juveniles are not, however, afforded the right to an impartial jury of their peers. This is due to the level of understanding needed to process the relevant evidence in a case. Juvenile cases are usually overseen by a judge with just the defense and the prosecution. So in conclusion, the rights afforded in the Constitution to adults apply to juveniles as well, with minor exceptions that favor the juvenile. The rights of juveniles are constantly being reviewed due to the influx of juveniles being tried for criminal cases. With criminal cases involving juveniles, the Sixth Amendment rights are more in line with those for adults, with the exceptions mentioned in this presentation. In the future, we may see more juveniles tried as adults, and the line between adult rights and juvenile rights will be less defined.